Some members of George Floyd's family say Derek Chauvin's 22-and-a-half-year prison sentence is not enough. Prosecutors had requested 30 years. A jury convicted Chauvin in April of second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter for killing Floyd in May 2020. Floyd's nephew said the sentence was a slap in the face. Floyd's sister released a statement saying the sentence shows matters of police brutality are being taken seriously, but there's still progress to be made. I want to bring in now Gwen Carr. Her son, Eric Garner, died when a New York City police officer placed him in an unauthorized chokehold almost 7 years ago. She has since become an activist working to stop police violence. Ms. Carr, thank you for joining me today. No doubt that this case has brought up emotions for you. Where were you when you heard Chauvin's sentence, and what were you feeling in that moment?
Well, I was actually at my grandson's graduation yesterday when the verdict came out. And my feelings was bittersweet because I didn't think that he got what all he deserved, because I think they should have given him the maximum. He got 3 guilty verdicts, and I think they should have acted upon that. Even though when he did get the 22-and-a-half years, that's more than any police officer ever got in Minnesota. So that's a step in the right direction. But we can't just be satisfied with that. And we must remember that that was just one case. There are so many of us that didn't get our day in court. There's so many other injustice that's being done, and the police are still on the force. We have to fight against that. We can't just be happy with one with one sentence.
And in fact, there were a lot of similarities between your son Eric's death and George Floyd's death. Both said the words, "I can't breathe," before they died. But a grand jury in your son's case denied to even indict the police officer involved. How do you feel about the trial and conviction in Minneapolis? And do you think that the reaction to your son's death played a role in how the Chauvin case turned out?
Definitely it played a role. But just like in the George Floyd's killing, when my son was first murdered, it was almost a duplicate. Those police officers should have been fired on the spot, as they did in Minnesota with the George Floyd case. But that didn't happen, even though the mayor of New York City said he commended Minnesota for what they did, but he didn't do the same. And this is the steps that he should have took. And maybe I would have gotten my day in court, which I've never gotten my day in court. But, I'm pleased, and I'm pleased for the family that we are getting some progress done. There is some accountability, but we know going down the line, even though he got the 22-and-a-half years, what's going to happen? There's going to be appeals. There's probably going to be lessening of the sentence. So we have to watch all of that. Sometimes you just can't look a gift horse in the face, because we know what has happened on other occasions with similar actions and similar things happening to our people of color.
Ms. Carr, you're saying that you never got your day in court. I'm wondering, does it feel like you are getting some level of justice for your son, as well as the national conversation and the change really that led to not only the conviction but also the sentencing of former Officer Chauvin took place? Does that feel to you in any way like justice for your son Eric?
Well, I think that my son's, when he was murdered, and that the attention that his case received did set the stage. So when George Floyd was murdered, people did remember and reflect back on what had happened to Eric Garner. So they were more angry and outraged. Hey, we're not going to keep on letting this go forward like this. So yes, I do feel a little sense of conviction. It never would be justice, because justice would be when Eric Garner and George Floyd, if they would still be alive, that would be justice. But there's no justice for them because they are gone. But I do think that we are moving in the right direction, but we have to keep moving. We can't go to sleep. We have to get more justice. We have to get more cases to get tried in court and more of these police officers to stand accountable.
A very profound point, Ms. Carr. So what kind of changes would you like to see when it comes to accountability in law enforcement?
Well, one of the changes I would like to see that the politicians pass the George Floyd Policing Act, because they're dragging their feet on that. At least that would give us some sense of that we would have a direction to go. But I think that they passed the Juneteenth so fast, within a week or so, and they're still dragging their feet on the George Floyd Policing Act. And this would be a federal bill nationwide where the police just can't do anything. They just can't come into our communities and brutalize, terrorize, and murder us just because we are people of color. And so I just say to them, this is the first step in doing the right thing. And if you want to show that you're really concerned about us and the people in our communities and about us being so badly treated, pass the George Floyd bill. That's the first thing you do. And then we want the legislations to look back at the cases that they've missed. Throughout my case, other people's case, who never got any justice. So, take those steps. And then, we'll be stepping towards doing the right thing for the people of color.
Gwen Carr, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.